I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Los Angeles. Freeman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes me. Freeman has ended it. It's a repeat hero with the last word of a Game 3 classic.
Buckle in, Wisconsin. Josh and I are going for blows today. He woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and it's my favorite side.
Yeah.
He's on one.
What's that say about you?
He's on one. I love it. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, morning.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live on your radio on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. 100% dedicated to the people, the stories, and the patriotism of Wisconsin. If it has to do with Wisconsin, we got it. If we can circle it back to Wisconsin, we will. If we can't check either of those boxes, we're out. And there is so much that we can circle back to Wisconsin today. Follow us on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh, at Inside Wis Sports, and the network at WI Sports Radio. YouTube.com/at WI Sports Radio, or just open up YouTube and search Inside Wisconsin Sports.
Yeah.
You're going to want to watch us there today.
I don't think so.
You're going to see, I said to Josh yesterday, I miss you freaking out.
Yeah, which I didn't appreciate.
Well, apparently you slept on it and said, you know what, Trev, you're right, because there's going to be a lot of freak out moments. At least that's the way this feels already. And we've been on the air, a minute and a half. So here we go.
I don't love your excitement about this. I liked being happy. That was a good feeling.
Yeah, it's not great for the show, Josh. We need you to kind of be grumpy every now and again.
That's awful.
Well, here we go. See if you can turn it off, because I bet you can't. Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250. All right, so why are you so grumpy already?
Well, listen, we're going to get into a lot of that in the morning mind dump. I literally asked you before the show. I was like, well, I'm supposed to have 2 morning mind dumps? You get multiple things off my... I don't have time for that.
Well, we got 3 hours, so I think we're going to be able to squeeze it in. They squeezed a lot in yesterday, Josh. It was the sports equinox.
Yeah.
And I didn't care.
It all sucked.
I didn't care yesterday because no Wisconsin team was in it.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I'm like, I'm going to watch the World Series. Monday Night Raw is on. I know the Chiefs and the Commanders are playing. I don't really pay attention to the NHL until it's playoff time, because there is no greater playoff than NHL playoffs. And I would stand firm on that. Those are very, very good games. I have no skin or dog in the fight.
Do you watch any NHL before playoff time?
Yeah, if it's on, sure, but I don't follow a team. I'm not rooting for one or the other. Last night, Penguins, Blues, Senators, Bruins. Don't care.
I don't watch hockey at all until it's playoff hockey.
And 11 NBA games last night, and our Bucks didn't play.
Nope.
So yet, that was a big day yesterday. And leave it to the World Series, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, to go hold my beer. 18 innings.
Yep.
And the Dodgers did that. Here's how we circle back to Wisconsin. Last time that happened, 2018. They had beaten the Brewers in the NLCS. They got to the World Series, and they played the longest World Series game in the history of the World Series games. 7 hours, 20 minutes, 18 innings, October 26, 2018. And so last night, here we go again. It's the bottom of the ninth. They are tied 5-5. It's about 20 after 10, maybe quarter to 11, somewhere in there. I was dozing on and off. And I said to my wife, turn it off. I'm going to worry about it in the morning. And she said, half asleep, well, can I leave it on? Because that was her saying, I kind of want to watch this. Sure, do what you want. I was out. And I'm out.
Yep.
Woke up this morning, missed an entire baseball game.
Yes.
And it was a really good baseball game, innings 10 through 18. A lot was missed. And so if you missed it, go find the highlights. You're definitely going to want to. But at the end of the day, Dodgers 6, Blue Jays 5.
I don't know if you're going to want to. I don't know if you're going to want to.
So this is where I stand on this, and we'll rehash this multiple times because there's so many different angles. But remember, I'm a baseball fan. So you asked me, do I watch the NHL games if it's not the playoffs?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll put one on. Do I watch NBA games if it's not the Bucks? Every once in a while. If there's drama, I might tune in for the soap opera. That's it. Football. I can watch football. I'm more likely to watch football that doesn't involve the Packers. But last night, Chiefs Commanders, don't care. Literally.
Well, and they didn't give you a reason to care. The game sucked.
Yeah, 28-7. Travis Kelce tied the franchise touchdown mark.
Hey, how about that?
Yeah, good for him. So last night it was all about baseball for me and Monday Night Raw. And so I flipped back and forth to the dismay of my oldest son, who didn't necessarily want to watch either for any length of period. I couldn't even really tell you what he wanted to watch.
You got a smart son.
Meaning you didn't want to watch either as well?
Yeah, because I hated both.
Did you have a good night last night? I thought you had friends over.
I did.
We're joyful.
Yeah, we were having fun. We were watching a movie, all of us hanging out.
I did not leave you this way. You and I talked every night. When we hung up, you were fine.
I was fine. I wasn't happy. I was fine.
Well, I didn't think you were unhappy.
I never loved waking up to a Dodgers highlight. And they happen way too often. And I used to think, I'm going to get into this in my morning mind up. I used to think that I was just a huge fan of baseball and watching, especially playoff baseball.
Yeah.
No. I went back. I watched the highlights. I wasn't having fun watching any of that. The Dodgers, I hate watching the Dodgers. And
period.
I think it's because of the pain from the Brewers, but also just what they are. The bullies. I don't understand how people are excited to watch literally the bullies of a sports franchise. They're the best team. They're going to be the best team, and there's nothing any of us can do about it.
Is there a player that you hate on the Dodgers that leaves you this way, or is it just the overall state of baseball affairs?
That's exactly what it is. If you blew the Dodgers up and you force that team to put their all-stars on other teams, I don't know that there are many guys on that team that I would hate. I think I would be excited for those other cities that they all had one guy, that the stadium was all filled with one jersey of their superstar. You could even put two, but it's just having it be the whole lineup, pitching and bat and hitting. It's annoying. It's annoying.
That's the interesting part about it, though. There's nobody on that team that I have to hate. They don't have that one guy. Clayton Kershaw, but even he's semi-lovable, especially after the All-Star thing where he was talking to somebody in his ear. I don't have that pitch. That was funny. And Dalton Varsho, center fielder, I mean, he was heavily involved in last night's game, including a piece that we will play later that I think was his fault.
No.
I'll get to that. We'll get to that. So there was a lot going on in that game, though. That was a good baseball game. And you and I argued ad nauseum about what the difference is between watching as a fan and just watching good sports. And last night's World Series game was a good sport. That was a good sport.
See, to me, if I'm just watching a sporting event to enjoy the sport, I can't have overwhelming emotions towards anything happening in the game, right? Then I'm just able to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
After game, and I've said this multiple times. After game one, that was going to decide a lot of how I was going to feel about the rest of the World Series. I watched game one, Dodgers, Blue Jays, and there was I felt too much anger and hate. Either way, watching Blake Snell get ran out of the building by the Blue Jays still upset me that the Brewers couldn't do that. And then watching the Dodgers be the Dodgers upset me because screw them. I don't like that. And so I can't enjoy this World Series without feeling some type of emotion based on how it all played out against my team.
So that entire game one, then, when the Blue Jays came out with bats, and specifically 9 runs all in one inning, or at least 7.
No, I think there was 9.
That bothered you? Why? Because the Brewers should have been able to do that?
Because the Brewers didn't do it. And because we went, well, I mean, Blake Snell's superhuman. This team is superhuman.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do. And then we saw another team do exactly what the Brewers were supposed to do to them. That's frustrating. Was I happy they lost that game? Sure. Was I upset that the Brewers couldn't do what the Blue Jays did? Yeah. Very conflicted feelings.
Yeah, so who are you more upset at, though, in that situation? Because I wanted the Blue Jays to win. I still do want the Blue Jays to win, but I can't knock the fact that last night's baseball game, granted, again, I missed half of it. That's insane. I went to bed in the 9th. I missed half the game. That whole thing is good for sports. So I still want the Blue Jays to win, and that was an amazing baseball game last night. And so maybe I can differentiate the two, by the way, which neither have to do with the Milwaukee Brewers.
No, I mean, my feelings definitely have something to do with the Milwaukee Brewers. So if the Brewers get eliminated in the wild card round, if the Brewers are the Padres and they get eliminated in the wild card round, I don't think it stings as bad. And that's gonna be a big factor of my morning mind dump.
Interesting. Well, stick around for that. The Morning Mind Dump, 7 o'clock every day here on Inside Wisconsin Sports. We get it off our chest, out of our heads. A lot of voices. Eliminate them before you start your day. We're a safe place. You can text us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Get it out now, and then go on with the rest of your day.
Can I know this isn't, I have questions, but can I ask you a question?
I mean, if it doesn't ruin what we have planned for I have questions, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
Okay,
good. Why isn't Patrick Mahomes against what should be an okay team exciting at all? Like, even going into that game, I felt nothing for it. And I feel like even last year, I would have been excited enough to at least go, oh, Mahomes and the Chiefs are playing. All right, I got to check in on this.
Really?
And I felt nothing. I felt nothing towards that game. Like, it might as well have been Jets Browns. Like, nothing.
That's how I feel about every game that the Packers aren't involved in. Other than the Super Bowl and maybe an NFL playoff game. I had last night, Commanders Chiefs. To say that didn't interest me is an understatement. I have YouTube TV. They have those multi-screens where there's multiple boxes. Really awesome during March Madness.
Yes. Or you can just buy like 7 TVs.
Last night, there was the baseball game on one and the Monday Night Football game on the other. And I simply clicked the baseball game because I just had no interest in whatever that NFL game was about. And it's because I pride myself on that, by the way. I want nothing to do with sports that don't tie back to Wisconsin. I have no interest. That's why I don't work for the mothership anymore. I worked for the 4 big letters, not in this state. Helped start one of the first ESPN radio stations in South Florida. And I tapped out for a lot of different reasons. But one of the main one was I just don't care about national sports.
Sure.
That's what this show is all about. So last night's baseball game, I can see how that connects to the Brewers season. And I like the World Series. And I could watch baseball playoffs. What do you call it? Should we come up with a name for a person that jumps on the playoff bandwagon in that particular sport? Because that's me. And so last night, Chiefs Commanders, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, what am I watching for?
Yeah. Well, it used to be just because he was one of the greatest of all time. And so whenever you get to see that player play their sport, you tuned in.
Did you feel that way about Tom Brady?
Yeah, but I hated Tom Brady because he was the luckiest of all time.
There's a lot cooking in you today.
Yeah, there is.
You got
sure
a lot
is
going on. So you like Patrick Mahomes because he's one of the best.
I'm not saying I like him. I'm saying I'd watch him. I'd watch him because he did things that I wouldn't usually see. A lot of it was still hate watching.
Yeah, you taught me that. I don't think I hate watched sports until I met Josh Albrecht.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's a fun time, but I really don't have.
Can be.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, listen, we all saw those clips from Cubs fans during the Cubs Brewer series that were watching these games and having their face melt off. So fun.
Yeah,
but
they do it for Bears games, by the way, too.
So is there games that you can remember that you hate watched that stand out above the rest? Like, where did you, first off, how did you develop hate watching?
I mean, simple. I just let my emotions take over.
No,
I know. Listen, if I'm watching a sporting event based on the fact that I love sports and there's a person or team playing that irritates me for one way or one reason or another, I'm hate watching. I'm watching to hopefully see them lose. I'd rather do that than not watch them.
The 864 on the Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. The 864 said Josh was right. Dead on. Dodgers, Chiefs, yawn. Focus on Packers, Carolina this coming weekend, and then Philly on to the next. Can't knock that. And recapping a day that was a sports equinox is one of those things. I mean, listen, I have it later in the show as well. This isn't the first time this has happened. This is actually the 32nd time the sports equinox has happened. And what I have in mind for you, and I have questions, is, has it ever involved the Wisconsin team? We'll get to that. You have questions, and I hope all of you across the state of Wisconsin here on the all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network have questions as well. So get them into us, the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, 414-677-1250. We're so happy to be here with all of the affiliates across the entire state of Wisconsin. 99.7 FM, WNFL in Green Bay, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in Duluth Superior, and 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee. Follow them, the network, all of us on social media at WI Sports Radio. We have a huge guest announcement coming up in this show at 7:30. We're chatting with somebody later this week that you will want to know about. Do not miss a huge announcement of a next upcoming guest later in the week. We're doing that at 7:30. I Have Questions is next. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Josh and Trevor on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's Josh. I'm Trevor.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, it's great, bud.
You're lying.
Never been better in my entire life.
Join us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. You have them. I have them. It's time for I Have Questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
There's a lot that happened yesterday that has Josh a little riled up. So here's my first question, and I think he's a ticking time bomb this morning. So this might go well, this might not.
Oh, come on.
As Brewers fans, why can't we cheer for Shohei Ohtani? I have the feeling that
I know.
I have the feeling that there are a lot of Brewers fans out there that can't cheer for Shohei Ohtani. I am not one of them. That is one of the greatest, if not the greatest baseball players that we will ever see in our lifetime, and maybe all of lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fan of what Shohei Ohtani is doing. That's fun to watch. 4 for 4 last night. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored, and they intentionally walked him 4 times. He got walked 5 times last night, and 4 of them were intentional. After he hit that second home run, I tweeted, I don't think he's going to see another pitch to hit the rest of this series, because he can single-handedly beat you like he did last night, like he did against the Brewers in Game 4 of the NLCS. He gets the ball to pitch tonight. I can remove myself from angry Brewers fan and go, holy cow, this is incredible. So why can't Brewers fans, in your opinion, Josh, be fans and cheer right now for what Shohei Ohtani is doing?
Because of the uniform he's wearing.
Tell me more, because that doesn't make sense to me. I am unwell that the Dodgers have knocked the Brewers out of the playoffs. But again, I don't have this I hate the Cubs. I hate the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I do not despise the Dodgers. They're very good at baseball.
They paid for it.
They did.
Yeah.
Which is all within the rules.
Yeah, but I hate the rules. And so therefore I hate them.
So then
you put him on the Braves, you put him on the Phillies, you put Ohtani on the Tampa Bay Rays. I'd love for the conversation to be, wow, we're watching the greatest player of all time. The conversation would actually be, wow, there's no way that the Dodgers or the Yankees don't pay for that guy soon, which all goes back to the problem truly being about baseball.
Would you hate him then?
If what?
If he started somewhere else. Phillies, Braves.
Well, he did start somewhere else.
No, that's what I'm saying. And then went and got paid. Why? What am I missing? That's what you just used.
Right. I'm saying the fact that he got paid and is on this team, that it was like there's an upper echelon of MLB where there's 2, maybe 3 teams total that can pay to just get whatever player they want. And then they ended up doing it with the greatest player of all time in Shohei Ohtani. And so you're like, man, as much as I'd love to be enjoying watching everything he's doing, I mean, you're still watching it going, geez, this guy's incredible. But I'm not enjoying it as much because it's for one of these evil empire-esque teams. That's the beauty of watching Vlad Guerrero Jr. on the Blue Jays, right? Dude's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Not very fast.
If you're not, well, we'll talk about that. If you're a fan of baseball and have a small market mindset and you're watching the entire league, you appreciate the fact that he's on the Blue Jays, not wearing a Dodgers uniform. At least not yet, right? Not yet. He's on the Blue Jays for now.
If a Milwaukee Brewer left Milwaukee to get paid because the Brewers chose not to pay them, do we hate them?
I mean, we're used to that.
We are.
So
do we hate them?
I think a lot of it depends on the uniform they're wearing. Jerry Seinfeld said you're cheering for the jerseys. You're cheering not for the player. You're cheering for laundry.
And to be clear, I'm not cheering for Shohei Ohtani because I want the Dodgers to lose. I want the Blue Jays to win. And I am mesmerized by his ability to play baseball. What he is doing is absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And he pitches tonight, by the way, after 18 innings last night. He was in all 18 innings.
Yeah, incredible. He's absolutely incredible
tonight.
Player. Yep. I know. He's doing things that have never been done and will more than likely not be done for a very, very, very long time.
There's a fairly certain phrase that fits here, I think, to sum up your opinion on this. Don't hate
Correct.
the player, hate the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
So I don't hate the player. I hate the jersey.
That wasn't your question, though. Your question wasn't, do you hate Shohei Ohtani?
Right. My question is, can, as Brewers fans, we sit and take in and or cheer in regard, not like clap cheer, like yay, Shohei Ohtani, but just sit back and go, wow, that is amazing baseball.
Those are two completely different things. You said, why can't we cheer for Shohei Ohtani? And I said, because of the jersey he's wearing.
Cheer for Shohei Ohtani. Can we cheer and be happy?
No.
Because he's wearing a Dodgers jersey.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you can fan however you want. I cannot. I cannot do that because of the jersey he's wearing. I can watch and appreciate and say, God, this guy is incredible. I'm not denying that. There are a lot. I say that about half their lineup. Freddie Freeman's a great example. We've talked about it. I would love to hate Freddie Freeman. The only thing I hate about him is the fact that he's a Dodger. That's it.
Is that because of the Brewers, though, or would you hate the Dodgers just as much if they weren't the team that knocked the Brewers out in 18 and 25?
I don't think I would hate them as much, but I'd still hate them.
Because you hate the rule.
Because I hate the rule. I hate the concept. It's the same thing still with the Yankees. It's still the same thing with the Yankees. The Yankees haven't won a World Series since, I don't know, 2015 to 8, 9. I don't know, something like that. And I'm still not a huge fan of them because they can do the same thing. They go out and they spend a bunch of money and then they go and they get whoever they want. That's what I'm talking about with this upper echelon of evil empire-esque teams that every year can be a part of the conversation if they just go and spend a bunch of money.
Do you hate other teams that spend money in certain ways in other sports?
What sport can teams do that in?
Well, the Packers just paid Micah Parsons $188 million.
Yes, but there are caps in place to make sure that they couldn't also pay 8 other people $180 million.
So my question was, do you hate teams that pay players an asinine amount of money in specifics to 1 or 2 or 3 players versus spreading that wealth to build a team? No,
because it's all risk, right? If the Packers took a risk, they're paying Micah Parsons a boatload of money.
It worked.
But it's still a risk because they aren't going to have as much money to do that again. Teams are taking a chance in other sports leagues when they go all in. Same thing with the Bucks. The Bucks are going to always pay for Giannis, but they're paying him a lot of money. They're paying taxes. They're not having as much money for other players. That thought process doesn't exist in Major League Baseball. That's why everyone's frustrated about it. It's not the Dodgers going, all right, listen, our 5 through 9 hitters are going to be bad, but good luck getting past 1 through 4 because we went all in and we maxed out our cap on those four bats. No, they can just go, well, we're going to pay this guy a ton of money. We're going to pay 1 through 9 look great and are all-stars on any other team. That's frustrating. That's hard to watch.
And yet, somehow, when Shohei Ohtani's in and batting and pitching, I'm all in. That is an unbelievable person to watch play sports. What's your question, Josh?
My question was specifically about, did the Blue Jays get screwed?
How?
There was a play in the game last night, top of the second, where it was a ball. A ball was thrown for the Blue Jays, and it should have been ball 4. It wasn't ball 4. It was called a strike. And then in the process, the hitter, who was Varsho, he was confused. He had already kind of thrown his bat towards the dugout, and he ended up then the runner at first was walking to second, gets thrown out. Here's how it sounded.
First, oh boy. Everybody's confused. Varsho's still in his spot. Bichette's wandered off of the base, and he's out. He thought it was ball 4. I think we all thought it was ball 4. But the home plate umpire, Mark Wegner, said strike 2, and so that was a live ball. Bichette is out, 1 away. I tell you what. I mean, it's a ball, and everybody knows it. And that's a late call on a 3-1 pitch up. And even the hitter didn't realize that he had made it because it was such a subtle call. That's a bad break for the Blue Jays and Bichette.
So it sounded like the broadcast booth thought that the Blue Jays got screwed. I feel like a lot of people thought that the Blue Jays got screwed on that. Trevor, you don't, though.
No, Blue Jays screwed themselves. It was less than 3/4 of a second, 0.68 seconds between pitch, caught, strike. And it was audible. Strike. That's on Varsho. If he can't determine that the umpire just said strike, you shouldn't throw the ball or the bat. And then the guy standing off a second with clearly the ability to be tagged out. That was just bad baseball. They didn't get screwed at all. They thought that they were right over the umpire and chose to actually mail it in. That was completely on Varsho and completely on the guy in first. None of that was the umpire's fault. It was a strike call in less than 3/4 of a second. Even if it was a ball.
I mean, it was definitely a ball.
Sure, but it was still called a strike. Look back at the Packers game. There was 2 plays specifically that the players assumed were going to be called, and they weren't. There was a false start on the Steelers that was blatant to everybody playing, but they didn't stop playing. And the same thing went for the offsides penalty that they didn't call on the Packers when Micah Parsons was getting ready to go in. Aaron Rodgers knew it, saw it, treated it like a free play, kept playing, and then they didn't call it. They talked about it. That would have been bad, but they didn't call it.
It just seemed to me like there should have been like a stoppage of play. Like no one knew what was going on. It was a bad call followed by confusion by everyone. And then the Dodgers just said, well, wait a minute, throw it to first as everyone tries to figure this out.
No, there's nothing to figure out. The game was completely live. Completely live. The player disagreed with the call and stood there and started walking away. It was called a strike in 0.68 seconds. There was nothing confusing about this. There was a disagreement on a call. That's why you're saying they got screwed. I'll give you that. The call was wrong, but the call was made. At no time in sports do you just get to pause the game if you disagree. That doesn't happen.
No, I feel like that happens all the time.
When?
Especially in the NFL.
They pause the game when they throw a challenge flag. That's it.
I mean, there was a disagreement just about the thing about when all the refs met and they
No, I'm saying
the
a player doesn't get to pause the game.
Sure.
They didn't call that ball a ball. They called it a strike. There's no pausing the game. You don't get to stand there and go, timeout. You got that one wrong. That's
so
not how this works.
You fully disagree with the analysis from the broadcast booth?
100%. I don't care if it was the wrong call. The call was made. That's my point. In sports, the player does not have the ability to pause a game and go, you were wrong. And that's what they're arguing.
Yeah, so going forward at a professional level, batters should stay in the batter's box until it's 100%. Am I safe to go to first now?
No, it was 100% a strike in 0.68 seconds.
I mean, it was a ball.
No.
Everyone knew it was a ball.
No. It was a strike. That's my point.
Yeah.
The sport laid itself out in front of us. They didn't get screwed at all. They were stupid. That's what happened.
Okay. I want to get to the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, which is just on fire already this morning. Thank you, by the way, for getting up early with us this morning. All right, so let's start here. In regards to your whole question about can we watch Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers in general, 262 says, I think this is actually Ryan from the Falls, said the Dodgers aren't good for sports. They're good for one market, the evil empire that no one can take down. But if they do, they'll just buy another one. I don't know how anyone can fight that. Like, that's exactly what they have the ability to do.
I completely agree.
And so that makes it not fun to cheer for them. 414 says, in regards to cheering for Ohtani, yeah, I don't cheer for him because he's an overpriced gambler that was protected by the league. He always will have that hanging over his head, by the way, at least from fan bases that aren't in Los Angeles.
Completely agree.
920 says, we can't cheer for Ohtani because we're Brewers fans. We cheer for people on the Brewers. See if they're wearing another jersey, then we don't cheer for them. That's how that works. And this ties into on YouTube. You can also comment when you're watching us on YouTube. Jose Bracho chimes in. He says, morning, guys. Trevor, that's a bad take by you. Just because you aren't cheering for him and the Dodgers doesn't mean you can't admire what he's accomplishing. That's tying into what I was saying of I can still acknowledge the fact that we're watching this dude that's absolutely incredible, but I don't have to be cheering for him. I can just say, like, yeah, I hate this guy, but God, he's good. I did the same thing with Pujols, by the way.
I want Shohei Ohtani to be lights out tonight because that's good for baseball. I would love to watch Shohei Ohtani do something incredible on the mound tonight because I love baseball, and that's good for baseball, the game. You may disagree with all the rules in regards to how much teams are paid and salary cap and all those things. I can't control any of that, and that's how you fan, which I very much appreciate. But for me, I love the game. Love the game.
414 says, that's why I'm pulling for the Dodgers to win it all, because baseball needs to fix the game. And if they have to sit out 27, I suppose 100%, I'll find out other things to do, but fix the revenue sharing, get a cap, make a higher floor for the players, and let's make it a competitive game again. That's Randy in Greendale. Here's the thing. Sorry to say this, Randy. I don't think that even if the Dodgers win, I don't think it's changing a thing. I absolutely do not think that the Dodgers winning the World Series this year is going to lead to the majority of fan bases in Major League Baseball getting what they want, because it's a business and the business is making money. And so they're going to keep making money, period.
Jason and Wind Lake, look at this. Trevor's completely right. We're talking about the Blue Jays being screwed. This season has had a legendary amount of bad calls. That's why they're going to the immediate review system for pitchers and catchers and batters. Why are they assuming the right call will be made at this point? And that's my point. They can't just stop playing if they disagree with the call, and that's exactly what the Blue Jays did last night. All right, the most electrifying sound of the day is coming up next. You may be surprised to hear there's one more baseball piece coming.
Yeah.
It's been a good morning reviewing what we like and don't like about the way the World Series is playing out. But by golly, it's the biggest thing that happened yesterday in sports. And Mr. Varsho, very much involved from a Wisconsin perspective.
Including in that play.
Literally that play. I was just going to say. I thought you guys talked about Wisconsin stuff. We do. Literally that play was Dalton Varsho from Marshfield, Wisconsin, and a UW Milwaukee baseball alum. Keep it here. The most electrifying sound of the day is coming up next on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We are Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Follow along on YouTube if you so chose. YouTube.com/@WI Sports Radio, or just search Inside Wisconsin Sports and chime in, which many of you are, on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, and it is awesomely split right down the middle. We'll get to some of those here coming up. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. Time now, this should go over well, for the most electrifying sound of the day.
It's time for
The most electrifying
sound of the day
The most electrifying
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
And this most electrifying sound is of Vlad Guerrero Jr. running around the bases. Take a listen.
Jr., not usually a menace on the bases. Not going this time. Bichette, down the line, a fair ball. Ricochets back into play. Teoscar Hernandez scrambles after it. How fast can Vlad run? Throw to the plate. Ryan the plate. He's saved. He scores from first. Toronto leads game 3.
And that amazing play is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Now, unfortunately, the most electrifying sound of the day was ruined.
Hey, I think every...
Oh, that's not the right play. But with that, there we go.
A few moments later.
Ohtani on a center cut fastball. Ball swung. Ohtani's it. Shohei 5-5.
Man, did that just kill me. If you were watching that play, and you said it earlier, the announcer said it. Vlad don't run. He's at first. He ain't scoring. Boy is trucking, and then the way that he just stops short and just goes, boop, and tags home plate right before he gets tagged was awesome. Awesome play, awesome call, and then 10 minutes, literally 10 minutes later, like not 10 baseball minutes, 10 actual minutes later, Shohei Ohtani, boom, second home run of the game. Yep, tie game.
Tie ball game.
Hope you enjoyed your lead for 10 minutes.
Literally 10 minutes.
Literally took what I was like, oh, this is what an amazing call, amazing play. Boom, done. Crapped on it. Shohei Ohtani.
Dave in San Diego on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text line, 414-677-1250, as we get to the top of the hour and have what's going to be an epic morning mind dump coming up at 7:02. So stick with us. Get yours in now. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text line, 414-677-1250. If it's on your chest or in your head, get it out. Text us. Let's leave it all on the radio before we start our day, the morning mind up. So Dave in San Diego says, I understand wanting to see records being broken, shutout games, and other things that are history being made in sports. He gets that. It's exciting when you love the game, not the players. Yes, the salary is frustrating, but cap or not, Ohtani was going to play somewhere. Would Josh appreciate him more if he got paid the same as a Brewers pitcher?
If he got paid that amount, it wouldn't be on the Dodgers. So
no.
I don't know how to.
Specifically, he's asking, would you appreciate Ohtani more if he was doing this as a Brewer but got paid the same amount he is now? Reverse the angle.
Paid the same as a Brewer. I think he's saying if you take the salary out of it, if he was being paid by the Dodgers but just wasn't making $700 million.
Literally, would Josh appreciate him more if he got paid the same as a Brewers pitcher? He's saying he's on the Brewers. He's making $700 million.
I can't, my brain can't calculate that.
Why?
It would mean that the rest of the team is playing for free for the next 15 years.
You're right. That's the question. That's literally what he's asking. So the complaint is the price tag. Because the Dodgers
the ability to take that price tag and then build around that price tag with hitters that are still better than anywhere else.
You're right. So his question is, if the Brewers were paying Shohei $700 million, would you appreciate him more?
Yes, biasly, because he's on my team.
So it doesn't have anything to do with the money.
I mean, they wouldn't be in this position if that was the case. But yeah, I guess.
That's the truth. If it was about the money, then you would hate him making $700 million as a Brewer. But it's not. It's because the Brewers are choosing not to based on their business performance. All right, there's an epic morning mind dump coming.
Yeah, no, there's a lot that just happened.
A lot.
No,
it's all going to come out,
that's all
and
wrong.
his watch is going to go off. It's happening. Do not go anywhere. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, and this is the quietest it's going to be for the next 30 minutes. Solid. Stay here. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to go along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Los Angeles. Freeman sends a fly ball to center field. Varsho's going back before the clock strikes me. Freeman has ended it. It's a repeat hero with the last word on a Game 3 classic.
Amazing end to an amazing Game 3 of the World Series last night, 18 innings. Went to bed in the ninth, woke up, missed an entire baseball game. An epic end to an epic game, whether you like the team's jerseys or not. It is what it is. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh is on your radio. My name is Trevor Thomas. His name is Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
You can follow us both on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. The show is at Inside Wis Sports, and the network, WI Sports Radio, at WI Sports Radio. You can use that at WI Sports Radio on YouTube as well, youtube.com/at WI Sports Radio, live in your face on YouTube. You can also just search Inside Wisconsin Sports, and you can text us, which you are.
Yeah,
and
tons of text.
A lot of text, and we're going to get to all of them, literally all of them, during this next segment called the Morning Mind Dump. So get them in now. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. All right, it's time. Get it off your chest. Get it out of your head. There's a lot of voices going on up there. Whew, you all have made that obvious. It is time for the Morning Mind Dump.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Holy buckets. Josh is literally stretching. He's stretching, you guys.
I'm going to pull something. I'm going to pull something doing radio this morning.
Oh, my God. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I literally said to you, this show is better when you're nuts.
Yeah.
And today, you're nuts. Oh, it's
you want to get
outstanding.
nuts?
You want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
All right. I wrote this last night. I want to share this with you. I got to get this out. I was thinking about our listeners across the entire state of Wisconsin, and for some reason, I had to put them in categories. So can I share with you where I believe sports talk radio listeners fall in certain categories? And by the way, if you're listening to this, I want you to decide what category you're in, and then text us. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. Here are the categories, Josh. You tell me if you agree. Got to get this out of my head.
Okay.
And I'm using these in levels of a house. Like, think of these as, the basement, the first floor, the second floor, and so on.
Okay.
So here's the first level I think of. This is an old farmhouse basement level. It's dark. It's smelly. No one agrees with what you say ever, and they're loud about it. That's the first level, like the dingy,
all right,
holy buckets, those people that disagree just to disagree. Then there's the unfinished basement level. That's a listener who believes you have room for improvement in your hot takes, and they see the potential. But right now, open landscape.
Okay.
Nothing finished down there. Then there's the finished basement level.
Still in the basement.
The problem is you go up and down a lot. So you have a good take, and the listener will use it at work and not give you credit for it. But if you have a bad take and they disagree, they're going to tell everybody at work that they disagree, whether it's me or you that said it, and then they're going to tell them why we're wrong. That I love.
Okay.
There's only a few more levels. Here's level 1.
We're out of the basement.
We're out of the basement.
Okay.
They listen. They laugh along. They're in the car with us, but they will absolutely never call us and never text us. And I believe that is what we call the silent majority. The vast majority of people listening around the state of Wisconsin will never call us and will never text us. And those people are the silent majority. And I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love these people. Here's the second level, the upstairs, the nicest spot in the house. They listen, they laugh. Hell, they even cry with us sometimes. And every once in a while, they may tell someone they really like the show. Hey, you guys, you should really listen to that. I really like the show. They text. They rarely, but sometimes call. They even nickname themselves on the talk and text line.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually show up when you throw a tailgate party. That's like primo sports listener.
Yeah.
Then there's the secret man cave. And the man cave has beer, and it has remotes, and it has a lot of money. And in the secret man cave, whatever you say is safe. There's no judgment. I'm just kidding. That place does not exist.
Oh, I was going to say, what?
Literally does not exist in this profession.
Yeah.
We have all of that and so much more on this Nicolay Law fan talk and text line this morning. Every which level that we just described is in the Nicolay Law talk and text line. So here's my ask. Usually in the morning mind dump, you go or I go. Do we let the fans go today first?
No. I don't know.
Want to go first?
I don't know that I can. I don't know that I can wait any longer.
Okay.
Guys, go.
You can go. I was trying to send it to the talk and text line to see where but you go.
Okay. First of all, Dave in San Diego or wherever he is
it's okay
today,
for you.
He said before he clarified, and I think it's important that the question that he asked at the end of the last hour was indeed what I was saying about if someone like Ohtani was being paid a Brewers salary but on the Dodgers. Yes, I would be judging Ohtani because he went, okay, I could make money elsewhere, but I'm chasing rings, not chasing money. It's still a hate for a super team being put together. We see that more in the NBA, though. It's the fact that even if super teams like that exist in the NBA and they go and they want to play with certain players, the rest of the league can still be competitive. This way of doing it to where the players can all form a super team and get paid a bunch of money, having your cake and eat it too sucks a lot more as a fan. And so I hate that way more than I do forming super teams in other franchises and leagues. Okay.
I was just saying, but that's not your morning mind dump.
No, that's not. That's just, I needed to get that out. The big thing about this and the thing that I need help from the Nicolay Law fan talk and text line, the reason why I'm so frustrated and the reason why this has all been so hard is because it has not been enjoyable to watch the World Series for me. I mean, Trevor came on this morning and he said, man, what an exciting game. I'm seeing on social media, relive the classic Game 3, all 18 innings, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not enjoying it at all. And it's because the Brewers got beat by the Dodgers and that story and everything else. And we have had so much heartbreak in the state of Wisconsin with our sports franchises and getting them so close and then not making it to the promised land. And it just had me thinking about, is it just recency bias of why this hurts more watching baseball in comparison to if the Packers lost in the NFC Championship game and then watching the Super Bowl? Like, is it my brain just because this is what just happened and the hurt is the wound is still open? Or is there something to this and just watching it when the Brewers get eliminated, which they have a lot, make it a lot more difficult to watch playoff baseball in comparison to the NFL and watching the Super Bowl? Because I feel like the worst part with the NFL when the Packers lose in the NFC Championship game, which they did a bunch, I don't have to remind anyone, is the lead up to the Super Bowl, right? Like I can't watch SportsCenter or just turn on ESPN or any of those channels for weeks leading up to it because they have to talk about the teams leading up to the Super Bowl. But then I'm just watching all these highlights of my team getting destroyed. And the thing is, like, I'm not even having to witness that with the Brewers right now. They've got plenty of highlights of the Dodgers beating the Blue Jays. So I don't even have to see my Brewers getting beaten in all the highlights, but it still sucks and hurts. And I hate it. And I can't even hate watch the Dodgers beating the Blue Jays because it's so hard to watch this after the sting of watching my team get eliminated. And I don't even know if I'm alone. Because seeing that score last night, when I woke up this morning and knowing it went 18 and Freddie Freeman hit a walk-off home run, it put me in this mood. It put me in what all of you have to deal with this morning. And I don't feel like that is the same if we're here after the Super Bowl and the Packers got eliminated in the NFC Championship game. Am I alone in this feeling? Am I wrong in this feeling? Am I just losing my mind? I need help. I need to know.
I need help.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank
the
you.
Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Is Josh alone? Make sure he doesn't feel alone. That doesn't mean
maybe that's fine if I am alone. If I'm alone in that feeling and everyone else goes, dude, that's completely recency bias. After the NFC Championship game, watching the Super Bowl was the worst. I didn't watch it. I watched a replay of 2011. Like, if that was, or 2010, if that was what you did, like, then tell me that. It might legitimately just be recency bias that is making me feel this way. I don't know.
I have the ability to flush it. I can flush it. If that happens and we lose the way the Brewers did, let's be honest, that stings a little bit more. I mean, swept in 4 games by the Dodgers. But it would be hard. So here's what I hear you saying. And maybe this is my question back. Is it hard because the Brewers lost? Is it hard because the Brewers lost the way they did? I mean, literally, they got curb stomped by the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And would it be equally as hard or harder for you to watch if the Brewers would have been in it and lost in Game 7? Because if I can just compare how I feel to what you just described, maybe it's easier for me because we got absolutely curb stomped. I mean, none of what the Brewers season was.
Right, the Brewers were never in it.
Never in it, right? However, 2018 Game 7, I mean, to be right there,
sure,
at home, and then not have it happen, that hurt a lot worse. So if I'm just gonna share where I stand, I think that's where is I cannot wrap my head around how those are two comparable things, and I don't have a problem with it this year because the Brewers never showed up.
Sure.
The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. So many mind dumps to get to here. I want to pivot real quick as we let these texts come in about Josh's rant to what's happening with the Packers right now. Matt LaFleur talked yesterday. This is part of my morning mind dump. Some of the things that I thought about over the game as I kind of rehashed it in my brain yesterday. How about Quay Walker? Quay Walker is apparently a man now. In 2022, he was at a level where if somebody poked him in the eyeballs, he was probably getting tossed out of the game. So Matt Schneidman from The Athletic, who's going to join us at 8 o'clock, asked Matt LaFleur this very question yesterday because he chatted with Quay Walker.
I asked Quay last night if 2022 Quay Walker would have been able to restrain himself when DK went at him, and he said, hell no. What sort of growth have you seen from him, not only as a player, but in kind of the guy he is?
Oh, yeah. He's wearing a C on his jersey for a reason. He's definitely earned it, and I think just the growth, you've seen him as a player. He's playing at a really high level right now, but the maturity that he's shown, and I told him after the game, I was really proud of him for how he represented what we want to be about. Just playing between the whistles, playing nasty between the whistles, and then let them do all that extra stuff. And I thought that just was a big time, a really mature moment for him.
Growth.
Yeah.
Big time growth.
Yeah.
And that is insane to see the Packers have right now. There's a lot trending well for the Green Bay Packers. See, not every morning mind dump is a negative spot in my head. That's kind of what this segment's for, is just getting it out, right? I wanted to get that out there. That's a really positive piece from the Packers' growth. And I know that there's a lot of Packers frustrations, and I'm wondering if they're just overcooked, maybe kind of like this recency bias thing. Hey, let's go to the phones. We actually have a caller this morning, then we'll get to a bunch of texts.
Yeah, this is Tom in Cedarburg.
Hey, guys.
Tom, what's up, man? Good. We're really good. Thanks for the buzz. What's going on?
Josh, I feel exactly how you do, and I'll tell you my reason.
New best friend.
In those other sports, I actually think the Bucks and Packers have a legitimate chance. I'm 63 years old. I've been around since the beginning, and I'm starting to believe the Brewers will never win the World Series. And I think every year that we get eliminated or don't make it, in all those years, I have never watched baseball after they got eliminated. And I'm a huge baseball fan. So it's just a hopelessness to me.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Buzz. Thank you.
Thank you,
That's
Tom.
awesome. So somebody else said that on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, too. The 414. Wisconsin teams come close, but always fall short. Brewers, last World Series, 82. Packers, 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks and only 2 Super Bowls. Bucks, best player in the NBA and 1 championship. And the Badgers apparently will never be a championship team. We're tired of coming close and not getting it done. And that's exactly what Tom just said, too.
Yeah, the thing is that's the overall Wisconsin heartbreak. What I heard from Tom was he was saying the reason why I am maybe feeling this way isn't recency bias as much as it is because if the Packers get eliminated in the NFC Championship game, you're upset, you're frustrated, but you know that team has another shot, as long as they have Rodgers, as long as we have Giannis, as long as we have blah, 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 blah. I guess he's saying that just never being there as a Brewers fan over 50 years, there's just a hopelessness that he has.
Where?
In winning a World Series.
Winning a World Series.
Yeah. Being celebrating getting a ring is him saying it'll never happen. I get where he's coming from as a fan and his fandom. I don't know 100% if that's the answer inside of me, though, of why it hurts that much. Because I think that this Brewers team still has a lot to look forward to in the upcoming seasons. I don't necessarily think it's like we missed our shot. It's just I can't watch this Dodgers team. I don't know.
Andy in Brookfield says definitely recency biased. Every time one of our team sports loses in the playoffs, it's hard for him too to really get into what the championship games or series look like. He says, Josh, I remember you even coming over so we could talk it out after one of the heartbreaking losses of the Packers season.
It's true. I did. I literally was like, I need to get out of the house. I just went over to Andy's.
So there's truth to the loss. That I understand. That I completely understand. But I've never, I guess, struggled to watch the championship series other than maybe 2018. I had a lot going on in my life then, so I don't necessarily remember the World Series. But this year specifically, I don't have a problem watching the World Series at all.
I do, and I don't. I understand the recency bias thing, but I don't know. It's just it still doesn't feel like that. It still doesn't feel that that's the reason why. There's more to it, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we could pinpoint that, maybe that will be able, because you said
would help me.
You need some help.
I need help.
I need help.
I'm not denying it. I need help.
Coming up next at the bottom of the hour, 7:30. Don't go anywhere. We have a huge guest announcement. We're talking with someone on Thursday that you will not want to miss. We are announcing that at 7:30. More of your texts, maybe more of your calls. The Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line is open. 414-677-1250. Major guest announcement, 7:30 coming up next. The Inside Wisconsin Sports on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network with Trevor and Josh, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Stay here. Lots more to come in the Morning Mind Dump. We'll get to it. We'll pinpoint this, Josh.
Okay.
We got you.
All right. Thank you.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. A major announcement coming up at 7:30. Big-time guest coming on a big-time sports radio network here in Wisconsin. We'll get to that in just mere moments. Ron in Rome is on the phone. I want to chat with him. He texted in just a bit ago during the morning mind dump here about why he feels the way he does in terms of the idea of this whole disparity in payroll in Major League Baseball. Ron, thanks for the buzz. Welcome to Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Yeah, hi. I'm 69 years old, so I could go on for hours about baseball, which I'm sure you don't want me to. But I grew up in Brooklyn. And the Dodgers was a dirty word because they had left Brooklyn. But I grew up in elementary school listening to the Yankees in the World Series. They used to let us bring a transistor radio and listen in fourth grade. And the Mets, I was there, and when they were the 1962, they still have the worst record in baseball. But within 7 years, they were the Miracle Mets. So it was fun being a baseball fan. And the thing that I never hear anybody talking about, it was also fun being a baseball fan because I only cared about the American League when I was younger and the Yankees fan. I only had to know about 8 teams, and then I think in 64 they went to 10 teams. Now there's so many teams you can't even know who all the players are. Mm-hmm. They're all hopping around. And the last few years were like we don't play even the teams in our division that much have taken a lot of enjoyment out of the game. They've ruined the rivalry really between our division. But the payroll disparity is the worst thing. And I feel exactly like Tom, where I moved to Wisconsin in 1982, so I missed that World Series. It's been hopeless. But this season, I don't think you can get any better than this season. It was a great regular season. We had a lot of amazing moments, a lot of special stories like Andrew Vaughn and Collins and stuff. So it was great. But yeah, I'm not going to watch any World Series. It's like rubbing salt in the wound. And it makes me really mad that the players, first of all, the salaries aren't even good for the players. A lot of our young players are making $800,000 a year where they deserve more money, like Sal Frelick and Terang and those guys. And then a few people get stupid. What are you even going to do with $400 million except probably have all your grandkids be drug addicts?
They find ways, Ron.
That's so cool.
Ways.
Ron, thanks for the buzz. That's so true. And that's kind of the argument with Shohei Ohtani. He's deferring so much of the money that he's getting paid. What is he getting paid? Like $2 million a year right now?
Yeah, $2 million deferred.
Deferred $680 million.
Yeah, something stupid. Yeah.
So they have more cash on hand to pay everybody else. His piece there about 2015. He mentioned that he wants to go back to those days where the teams like the Royals have a chance to win the World Series. In 2015, the Royals were 16th on the payroll.
Yeah, and they were there the year before, too.
$113 million. The Brewers' payroll this year, $121 million. So it's not a major disparity by any means. That year, in 2015, the Dodgers' payroll was $272 million. $789 million. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It can happen. The Brewers were right there.
Yeah.
The bats just went to sleep.
I want it to be known, too, that my argument is not that the Brewers, I think this Brewers team is done or that they'll never get there. I feel like some people are texting in saying that, that's the reason why is because something deep inside of me says it'll never happen and that makes it harder. I don't believe that. I definitely think that with small market teams, it's don't miss your shot. We missed our shot in 2011, and then it was going to be like, because then those players are going to move on. They're going to get paid a lot of money by a different team that can pay them. And so you have to take advantage. The Royals had 2 years. They had 2014, they had 2015. They took advantage of both. They didn't win the whole thing in 2014, but they made it there and lost. And then they came back and won the whole thing in 2015. They haven't been relevant at all since. They haven't in 10 years, in a decade. They haven't been relevant at all. But they can say, yeah, but we won in 2015. And we refer to that World Series a lot because of the fact that it was a small market team that took advantage of their opportunity. When you're a team like the Dodgers, you don't have to worry about that. You have every year as an opportunity because you can just buy the opportunity. That's the difference.
And so we would all agree, though, that the NFL is different. That's what everybody keeps saying. We're bigger Packers fans and NFL fans because there's such a discrepancy in how players are obtained and players are paid and what all goes into that in comparison to Major League Baseball. And so here's our big announcement. We couldn't agree more. And on Inside Wisconsin Sports, just like on the Inside Wisconsin podcast, I want to talk to people and learn how they do their job, meaning what goes into their job. We all know what they do and how they do it, but who are they? And then what does your life look like when you do that job? And so in a time where there's a massive disparity in regards to Wisconsin sports and how our teams are paid, I would love to chat with Mark Antanasio about it, and we're working on it. I want to ask these questions. But I also want to understand how the Packers do it. How do they look at contracts? What goes into how they get their players and how they put the team on the field? And so Thursday morning at 6:15 a.m. here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network and Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, one-on-one, we're going to chat live with Green Bay Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst. Woo! Let's ask Goody some of these questions about money. Let's ask Goody what goes into his role being the general manager of the Green Bay Packers. What were the conversations like bringing in Micah Parsons and paying him what they're paying him? What's it like when you sign Jordan Love to a giant contract with barely having played? We talked earlier about the gambles that baseball teams make in paying Shohei Ohtani, who's clearly a talent, $700 million.
Yeah, listen, I want to ask him that. I want to ask Goody about, your whole mind has to be about the way that football works. But if you take yourself out of that and you look at what's happening with the Dodgers and the way they're able to form a team, like how does your brain look and process that in comparison to the restrictions that you have and the rules you have to follow in the NFL?
Yeah, there's a salary cap. And everybody says, well, if Major League Baseball had a salary cap like the NFL, all right, well, let's talk to one of the guys that's heavily involved in the NFL salary cap with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst, will be live with us here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh at 6:15 a.m. Thursday morning. Now, I'm going to preface this right now. Here's what this isn't going to be. This interview is not going to be a journalistic approach to digging for news. We're not asking him a thing about Aaron Rodgers because it's irrelevant to A, this conversation, and B, the future of the Green Bay Packers. I'm not going to ask a grown man in a job about his contract. When that news breaks, we'll all read it together, but I'm not in the business, nor is Josh in the business to break news, especially on this show, and especially with these interviews. This is not going to be a hard-hitting, tell us what's going on, Goody. This is a, hey, dude, thanks for the time. Love to sit and chat with you about some of the things that we notice as fans that we can't quite understand. How do you manage all of this money? What goes into a trade with Micah Parsons? How do you wake up every day and go, all right, how am I going to put the best team on the field today? What happens when the kicker that you just signed that you could 100% trust goes down with an injury and you somehow find a substitute teacher? Well, how?
Yeah.
What is that like? I can't wait. Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m., and we will definitely roll that interview back later in the show on Thursday, and I guarantee you many of the clips will follow all day Thursday. In all of the other shows here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, an unbelievable lineup with, by the way, two former Green Bay Packers who were in the organization when when they played and Goody was there. The all-new lineup, 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. They follow Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Noon to 2, the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis, presented by Verizon. 2 to 5, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. 5 to 6, the postgame show with Tommy Wartz. The all-new lineup on the all-new Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. All morning long, we've been telling you about a major interview, a major guest coming up on Thursday morning. We just announced it. Green Bay Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst will join Josh and I live on Inside Wisconsin Sports on Thursday morning at 6:15 a.m. He's going to join via video.
Yeah, he'll be here.
If you want to watch along, join us on YouTube, youtube.com/@WI Sports Radio, or just go and search Inside Wisconsin Sports. You can't wait to ask him some of the things that we've been talking about all morning about this money stuff.
Yeah, you think he knows the answer?
Well, I know that
he can help me.
I know that Russ Ball has a lot to do with the contracts, but even that's a good question. When things like Micah Parsons come up, what's that conversation like? Okay, we got a chance. Like, is Russ a part of the conversation the whole time? Or do you just knock on Russ's door and go, hey, how's the checkbook today?
Yeah. It's a good point.
I'm jacked.
I can't wait. I'm
Thursday
very,
morning,
very excited and
6:15
grateful.
a.m., the Green Bay Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst. Goody doesn't do this, man.
No.
We're halfway through the season, in season, and we get the opportunity to chat with Brian Gutekunst. Could not be more grateful. All right, let's put a button on some of the mind dumps when we come back. There's a lot of text that we got to get to. A little bit of sports equinox conversation in regards to have the Packers, Brewers, or Bucks ever been involved in a sports equinox? And let's just put a button on all this baseball stuff, because at the end of the day, control the controllables. And right now, there are no controllables in Major League Baseball, and it is what it is. Yet, Shohei Ohtani is stupid, and he's pitching tonight.
It's true.
I think that's worth watching. And we don't get to tell each other how to fan. You taught me that.
It's true.
Very much appreciate that. All right, join us Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m. Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst on Inside Wisconsin Sports. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. My name is Trevor Thomas. He is Josh Albright.
Hi.
We are both on Twitter. Follow us there. We just made a major announcement at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh, at Inside Wis Sports, and at WI Sports Radio. It's out there. The news is in. Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m., live on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. We'll be joined by the Green Bay Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst. Lots of questions. A lot of them have to do with the disparity in Major League Baseball. All right, Goody, let's sit down and talk baseball, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
And other things, of course. All right, the morning mind dump has been on one this morning. We'll put a button on it before we get to the top of the hour and chat with our guy, Matt Schneidman from The Athletic, who was in the room where it happened yesterday, and Goody talking, and Quay Walker growing up and becoming a man, and a little bit more in regards to how we make sure receivers stay happy with the amount of targets they're getting when we have a lot of targets to spread the love to. Get it? No?
Yeah, I got it.
Were you even paying attention?
Yeah, I got
it. Are you listening to me?
No. Were you saying something?
A little.
Okay.
Not a lot. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250, the morning mind dump. So, Josh, how do we put a button on what has been a lot of conversation revolving around you being angry, frustrated, or maybe you just don't have the ability to watch the World Series, which is a bummer because last night's World Series game was unbelievable. How do we put a button on this and move on from baseball?
I don't know that there is an answer. I think it's just this is how I feel. And that's all there is to it. And it's just I don't know that it's recency bias. I think it's literally just every situation is different, and this one specifically with the Dodgers being the Dodgers after just beating my Brewers and all the storylines that go along with this Dodgers team, it's just I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not even going to hate watching it.
It's top of mind conversation because yesterday was the sports equinox. That started, by the way, and it's happened 32 times, including last night. The first sports equinox ever, October 17th, 1971. My question, Josh.
Yes.
Has a Wisconsin sports team been involved in the Wisconsin sports equinox? Yes or no?
I have to say yes.
How many times?
3 times.
1 time.
What? That's it?
That's it.
Wow.
The Packers played on a sports equinox on Sunday, October 27th, 2019. Ironically, they beat the Chiefs 31-24 on Sunday Night Football. And that was also the same time that World Series Game 5 was happening in 2019, and the NBA and the NHL were all in action. My question for the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line, 414-677-1250. If you could pick 4 games to go to in a weekend, the Wisconsin Sports Equinox. Now, it's never happened, by the way, in all 3 of the major professional sporting events and teams that we have here in the state of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
It's never happened. The Packers, the Bucks, and the Brewers have never played on the same day, ever.
Same weekend.
Same weekend, yes.
But not same
day, no. So my question is, what do you call that? If you could have a weekend that's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll tell you what we call it. My buddy Jason and I, Jason from the 920,
yeah,
we call it the trifecta.
Yeah.
Meaning we've done this before. Sometimes, most of the time, it involves a concert. But again, I live in Northeast Wisconsin, the Green Bay area. You live in Milwaukee, but I'm from Southeast Wisconsin. And so when my buddy Jason comes up here, especially when we were younger, we tried really hard to make it what we call the trifecta weekend, where if we got to go to a concert and a Packers game and something else that was an event. Maybe it was 2 concerts in a weekend.
Sure.
Or maybe we would go to the Brewers game and then make it a trifecta weekend and come up to the Green Bay market for the rest of whatever the fun was. Can I tell you At 42 years old, I want nothing to do with a trifecta anymore.
You're done.
Can't
do it.
I'm tired.
Well, what about if you had a little bit of time to mentally prepare? Like sometimes, like back in the day, if we were going to go out and party, I could just go out and party. Now, if I know that there's going to be a party, I need a couple of days to psych myself up and get in the right mindset, and then I can go and have a good time. What about if you knew a week and a half ahead of time, hey, we got the trifecta coming this weekend?
Has nothing to do with my mindset. It has everything to do with my ability to recover from a hangover.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Can you psych yourself up to be okay and do it if you knew it was going to happen? No, it's all physical for you.
Yeah, it's definitely physical. Mentally, I'm all in. I can handle it just fine. But 3 nights or 3 days in a row, and that's what it has to be, by the way. If it's not 3 days in a row, it has to be 3 events in 2 days. The trifecta can't be spread out over a week. This is a bang, bang, bang. And that hurts, Trevor, at 42. It just takes a hot second to recover from that.
Yeah.
It happened for Oktoberfest weekend. We had that big Oktoberfest party up here.
Right.
By the way, I can drink Miller Lite with the best of them. With the
You're
best.
A champion.
Doesn't affect me at all.
It's water.
Now, do I get full? It's not water. It's beer that tastes like beer.
Yes. But
I get full. Yeah. I get full on beer. At Oktoberfest, I was drinking like the Oktoberfest beers, Spaten and Liney's Oktoberfest. And then there was a coffee stout that was 7%. Tuesday sucked. And that was Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
That's a big difference.
So that's what the trifecta scares me. At the end of the day, it's a great weekend, but it's just a lot. But I've heard of people doing this in Madison on Badger home football games and then a home hockey game.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Whoa. How? There's a nap. There better be a nap.
Or you're young. You can just do it.
Can you? Oh, man. I couldn't have done it back then without a nap. I certainly would have made it to the end of the second game. Somebody carry me out.
Nah, I think you could have. I think you could have done it.
So what's your ideal trifecta weekend in the state of Wisconsin? Lay it out in the next 2.5 minutes, Josh.
I'm trying to think about, obviously there's a Brewers game and a Packers game in there. And so, obviously Packers are Sunday. I definitely don't want that game to be a night game.
Oh,
do I get to pick?
Problem.
Do I get to pick?
Problem. No. You're not wrong. What you just said is not wrong. This is the problem. If you run into a trifecta opportunity, it is not going to be perfect.
Listen, there have been days where there was like a Brewers game, like Brewers Day game, and then people will have gone to Lambeau from the day game to see a night game at Lambeau.
That's 2.
And that in one day. That's a lot.
That's fine.
That's
2.
a lot in one day.
You need a third event.
Yeah, the third event. I don't know. Because in my brain, when I'm putting this together, the Bucks being a part of it, the Bucks game means nothing at that point in the season. Because if there's going to be a weekend where it overlaps, it's the Bucks are preseason or it's like the first week of the season, so it's not hitting the same.
So throw in a concert though on Saturday night. That's my point.
Sure.
So you're out late Saturday night. You wake up early Saturday morning to get to AmFam Field.
Sunday morning. Yeah.
Or Sunday morning to get to AmFam Field and start tailgating. You do everything you can to keep it together. And
funny.
Then you drive north to Green Bay. And somehow you have to work on Monday morning.
The 414 says, Josh, don't lie. State Fair, Brewers, and Packers in one day. That's your trifecta. That'd be a hell of a weekend.
That is the Josh trifecta.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Sure.
That'd be good.
All right. At the top of the next hour, Matt Schneidman from The Athletic will join us to kind of recap what was from the Packers weekend and also help us forecast what may or may not be this coming. I think this is a trap game. I think it's a trap game.
So that's a good take.
I have questions about Quay Walker. I have questions about how we're going to disperse the opportunities from Jordan Love and ultimately what the Packers seem to be in terms of psyche here at essentially almost the midpoint of the season. That's impressive. They're in first place. They're playing well, but does it feel like that? Should we as fans feel like that? Matt Schneidman from The Athletic joins us next here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. If you missed it, we announced it at the bottom of the hour. Brian Gutekunst, the Packers general manager, will join us Thursday morning live on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh at 6:15 a.m. We get to wrap with the Packers GM in the middle of the season. Don't miss it. Follow us along on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. The show is at Inside Wis Sports, and the network at WI Sports Radio. Live on YouTube, live on the radio across the entire state of Wisconsin. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Join us. Stay here. Matt Schneidman's next from The Athletic. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
I asked Clay last night if 2022 Clay Walker would have been able to restrain himself when DK went at him, and he said, hell no. What sort of growth have you seen from him, not only as a player, but in kind of the guy he is?
Oh, yeah. He's wearing a C on his jersey for a reason. He's definitely earned it. And I think just the growth, you've seen him as a player. He's playing at a really high level right now, but the maturity that he's shown, and I told him after the game, I was really proud of him for how he represented what we want to be about. Just playing between the whistles, playing nasty between the whistles, and then let them do all that extra stuff. And I thought that just was a big time, a really mature moment for him.
Josh, I'm just making sure you know that if you ever poke me in the eyeballs, I'm probably going to rip your face off, regardless of how mature I feel like I am.
Maybe you should be as mature as Quay Walker is.
You can't reach that high. Let's be real. Good morning, Wisconsin. What's up? Welcome in the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh, the show at Inside Wis Sports, and the network at wisportsradio.com. Jump on YouTube with us as well as we chat with our guy Matt Schneidman from The Athletic, youtube.com/at WI Sports Radio, or just search Inside Wisconsin Sports. So Josh Schneid just texted me and goes, hey, can we do phone? And I was like, well, we're set up for StreamYard, and if we talk to you on the phone, we don't get to see that mustache.
Yeah.
So, I think you're muted, brother.
No, he's there. I got him.
Oh, is he? I got him? Okay.
Matt, you got us?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay.
Hi, buddy.
How you doing, Josh? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, man. It's been a little bit.
I know it has. No, Trevor, the reason I texted you that is mainly because my appearance on these early Tuesday mornings, and Josh knows I used to do the 7 a.m. hit with him and Zay and Butch on StreamYard. I look real rough, like at all hours of the day, but especially on early Tuesday mornings. But we're here. We're good. It got me up, and I'm ready to talk some Packers here.
7 a.m. Schneidman is my favorite Schneidman, for the record.
It's my least favorite Schneidman.
Schneid, let's go back to the weekend that was, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that you have a good relationship with Aaron Rodgers, and you've been talking to him for years. So two things. One, how did that all go for you in the lead up to it and through the game? And two, did he comment about your mustache? Because I guarantee you did.
No, I don't know if I'd say I have a good relationship. You know, a lot of times with these athletes, we get along with them in a professional setting, but what we like to say is we're of the same world as them, but we're not in their world, pretty much. So
sure,
we had a cordial working relationship. I wouldn't say I was his friend or like he was my guy or anything, but I enjoyed covering him for 4 years. And no, he did not comment on that. What I would say is, you know, we love covering big games with big storylines. And this past week was a huge storyline. And I enjoyed talking to him on Zoom a little bit, even though it was only for, 10, 12 minutes. If he didn't need to get to meetings with the Steelers, I think it would have gone on much longer. He was enjoying, it seemed, kind of reminiscing and taking a trip down memory lane. And for each old face that popped up, he kind of had a different bar. When I popped up, he said, how does Matt get the first question? He called Rob Domofsky buddy. Bill Huber's old nickname was Seinfeld, so he called Bill Seinfeld. So it was good to see some old faces. And after we got out of the Packers locker room on Sunday night, Rob and I went into the Steelers locker room to see if maybe he was still in there packing up his stuff. There were literally 0 people left in there. So no luck there, but good to see kind of that pregame scene where he's out there 3 hours before kickoff, hugging literally everybody he ever knew here in Green Bay.
Matt Schneidman joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all.
Matt, I was before this game, I was like, hey, listen, I'm one of these guys to where I don't mind if Rodgers has a good day as long as the Steelers lose, the Packers win. I'm hearing all of his stories and all of these, this reminiscing and it got me a little bit. I'm one of those guys that I'm going to remember the good times and then after the game with this jersey swap thing, and during his presser, he goes, he was asked, did you give Love a jersey? Did you sign it? And do you mind sharing what you signed if you did? And he says, no, I'm not going to share that. That was his response. Short, simple. No, I'm not sharing that. And then yesterday, the audio came out. They were mic'd up. Like we heard exactly what the conversation was between them. And it just had me sitting here going like, this is exactly like the cryptic, unnecessary stuff that you covered forever with Aaron Rodgers. And it all just came flooding back. And I'm not understand. I don't understand why he had to say that. Was I missing something about that whole interaction of why he had to play it that way? Did he not know that that someone was mic'd up or that there were mics right there or something?
No, he knows that all the mics are there and there's all those cameras and microphones surrounding them when they meet at midfield. My guess, and I didn't see that clip. That's funny because I saw the mic'd up clip. I didn't see him post game. And my guess would be he was just in a crummy mood, understandably so, because they got their doors blown off in the second half. And Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary, tried to put him 6 feet under a couple times. And maybe he just didn't want to elaborate on that. But we heard what it was. It was a nice, cordial interaction where they say they love each other, call each other brother, and promise to swap jerseys down the road. That's what guys do sometimes. I know when, like Josh Jacobs and Jamar Chase and Micah Parsons did kind of like a three-way jersey swap after the Packers-Bengals game. And Parsons and Jacobs both wanted Chase's jersey. So I believe Jacobs got Chase's jersey right after the game, and then Chase sent Micah in the mail a jersey that came to Lambeau. So sometimes these jersey swaps don't happen like right there. I doubt Aaron was in the mood for like a photo shoot right after the game, and that's what it would have become if they exchanged jerseys right there. He just wanted to say his piece to Love and get on with it instead of, take off the jersey, do the whole, 9 yards and everything. So
it reminded me, like, you could just say that, just like, listen, I didn't want the moment to be about that. Obviously I wanted to keep it focused on the game. I said what I did to Jordan. He played great, and now I'm focused on what we do next week and blah, blah, blah. Instead, it was that, no, I'm not sharing that. And it just, when I knew we were going to be talking to you, I was like, man, this just immediately takes me back to all the years of asking you, like, now, what do you think he meant by that? And now tell me, when he had his inflection in his voice on this, and I'm just like, oh, I'm glad we're done with that phase of having 12 as a quarterback.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from as a fan. It doesn't really bother me, obviously, but I think I just chalk it up to him kind of being in a crummy mood, like I said, rightfully so, and maybe not wanting to expand upon that.
Matt Schneidman from The Athletic. Follow his writings on The Athletic and his talkings on an all-new podcast with our guy John Kuhn. It's called The Tundra. Follow them on the Twitter at The Tundra GB. New episode drops today. Any special guests?
Tomorrow. We had a little travel situation yesterday, so we're recording later today, drop tomorrow morning. And do we have any special guests? Not that we haven't had before on our show, but
okay.
I think we'll have a lot to talk about regardless.
Perfect preview
every week.
Can't wait. That's awesome. Yeah, of course you do.
A really enticing tease there. We have Annie Agar on the show, but she's a regular guest on the show. And, this is not my lack of excitement for that. I'm definitely excited for that. But in terms of someone we bring in from the outside and recruit and hound to come on the show, no, not this time.
Oh, welcome to our world. That's exactly what we do.
True.
Recruit and hound. So we're not used to Quay Walker being able to keep it together. That was a great question of Matt LaFleur yesterday. Apparently they are, to the point where he's a captain. What have you seen in covering the Packers in his maturity? Because I mentioned at the top, like, I don't know what he said. Let's be real. Like, something came out of his mouth that made DK Metcalf want to gouge his eyes out. So, I mean, maturity in a way of physical altercations, but apparently the mouth is just fine.
Yeah, I was the only one, I think, to talk to Quay after the game in the locker room on Sunday night, and I now that I think back on it, I should have asked him kind of what he said. Not that he would have told me to draw that reaction, or not that he would have told me honestly. But that's my story this morning that's up on The Athletic right now, is kind of how Quay has matured and grown, because we all remember his rookie year when he got ejected twice. And I think Domovsky had the stat that Quay's 2 ejections in the same season were the first time since ESPN started tracking ejections since the start of the century that a player had been ejected twice in the same season. And it was once for pushing that Bills practice squad player on the sideline, and once for pushing that Lions medical team member who was trying to get past Quay to DeAndre Swift, who was injured on the field. And Quay was trying to check on DeAndre Swift, who was his teammate at Georgia. So there were some anger issues that needed to be sorted through. I remember, and I went back and looked at a story I wrote in camp in 2023. And Quay talked about how he had started meditating at the advice of Jair Alexander, and how he started seeing Dr. Chris Carr, who's the Packers behavioral health clinician, basically their team therapist. And he kind of worked on himself that way. And so when I walked up to Quay after the game, he knew what I was going to ask, because he didn't even let me get my question out. I said, would 2022 Quay Walker? And he goes, hell no. And then he expanded and just said how he definitely would have responded and fought back earlier in his career, but all the work he's put in on himself, he said it wasn't even hard to not respond, because the feeling that he felt when he let his team down with those ejections and cost his team, he didn't want to feel that again, is what he told me. And I think it's impressive, not only that, but also how he's playing on the field. Jeff Hafley said last week that Quay is playing at an elite level. And I know they didn't exercise his 5th-year option this spring, but both on and off the field, he could be playing his way into a second contract here.
Yeah, that's very true. And I remember I was talking to Trevor about, football players are so disciplined. You have to be completely still, jump off the line, all those things. It was crazy that the discipline to just be able to say, nope, I'm not letting the words you're saying entice me. I'm going to let you get the penalty and not me, always was crazy. And so it's great to hear that, Quay went through and did those type of things to get his mind right, to be able to be in that mindset and be a huge part of this team, which this team in general, Matt, has, I've been talking all season about their identity and trying to figure out what the team's identity is. And I really like that second half. And I think that that's showing a lot of potential that maybe we haven't seen fully since weeks 1 and 2. Do you think they're on that trajectory to get back to that point and keep that going through the rest of the season?
Yeah, it's funny how the kind of narratives change week to week in this league, because after the first 2 weeks, it was they're going to win the Super Bowl. Then after the Browns game, it was they're frauds. And after the Cowboys game was, okay, maybe they really are frauds. Then the last 2 weeks was, okay, they're back to winning, but they're winning ugly. And this week is, okay, they're back to being a Super Bowl contender. So if they beat the Panthers by 3 points, it's probably going to change again. If they lose to the Panthers, it'll change again. I think regardless of what we saw in the second half, I still put the Packers in the Super Bowl contender category, if only because there's no team that is clearly better than the rest. Like, for example, the Eagles and the Lions and maybe the Chiefs were last year. The Packers, sure, have a really bad loss, a bad tie, a couple ugly wins, but so does pretty much every team in the NFL besides the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, the Buffalo Bills right now, I believe, are the second favorite to win the Super Bowl. And they lost to the Atlanta Falcons, and the Atlanta Falcons lost to the Carolina Panthers 30-0 and just got their doors blown off by the Miami Dolphins. Like, this is such a week-to-week league and anything can happen. And I understand and I appreciate the guttural reactions after every game, because it gives us and you guys something to talk about and stuff to analyze. But I think that it's important to take the big picture view, and that's that the Packers have a really young, talented team. They're a really good football team. They found a way to win 5 football games. They're one of only 2 teams with 1 loss still in the NFL. And I think, as we saw on Sunday night, Josh, at least on offense, their identity can change. They build everything off their running game, And they've been able to run the ball well at times this year. But if not, they can really air it out. Last year, Jordan Love didn't put up those gaudy numbers because the Packers ran the ball more than they ever had under Matt LaFleur. But on Sunday night, and as Matt LaFleur told us yesterday, he goes, yeah, the running game wasn't working, but I just felt we should throw the ball more because that's what was working. They can beat you in a number of different ways, and that's kind of the benefit of being the Green Bay Packers is they don't really have a singular identity, and that's a good thing.
Throwing the ball to a lot of different people is something that they're on as well. I thought there was a good question from Jason Wilde yesterday in the press conference where he was talking about how do you spread the love and keep everybody happy. Here was Matt LaFleur's answer to that.
Yeah, I think every situation is a little bit different in regards. If you can feel it and you know something's going on, then you absolutely, I mean, you're not going to run away from potential problems. You're going to attack it head on. At least that's how we operate, and that's how I'll continue to operate here. But yeah, and I know it can be frustrating for these guys. Shoot, look how far Tuck's come. I mean, what did it take him, like 8 games before he got his first reception his rookie year? So you just never know within the process. That's why you just got to keep working and try to do your job.
So what does that look like now that the Packers have even more weapons that can catch the ball? I tweeted last weekend that I thought it was going to be interesting when Christian Watson came back because it spread the field out. And we saw that in real time. At least that was my perception on Sunday. So A, is that what happened? Is that why Tuck had such a good game? And then B, how do they keep these dudes happy? Because we all know Romeo Doubs wasn't exactly pleased at one point.
I think Tucker Kraft had a good game because he's really, really good himself. I think the presence of Christian Watson certainly helps everybody because it's just another guy that teams have to really account for, and they can't just leave over to one side because he can wreck a game, as we saw at times on Sunday night. All these guys, and I don't blame them for this, have egos, and that's understandable because that's how they got to this point. They were the guy on their high school or college teams, or even at times in the pros. And it takes a lot to be able to swallow that, not pride, but swallow a little bit of that ego for the betterment of the team. I mean, Matthew Golden, I saw some stuff on Twitter about how maybe he deactivated his social media or whatever. Like, there's stuff like this every year where we read into stuff. And look, maybe Matthew Golden is frustrated. I don't think the Packers would be upset with Matthew Golden if he was frustrated. I think they would want that. Like, you want guys who want the ball. That's what they would say. As long as you don't let that attitude or frustration boil over and affect what you do on the field and affect the team, then I don't think it's a problem at all. If it makes you run your routes less hard or not be as attentive in meetings and kind of check out, then it becomes a problem. But if you're upset at a lack of usage, I don't think that's a problem, as long as you don't let it affect everything else and affect the team. And I would imagine Packers coaches would agree with me on that. So it's tough for players because they all want the 10 targets a game. But I think the only player to get double-digit targets in a game this season was Tucker Kraft against the Arizona Cardinals. That's just not how the Packers offense works, and they get that. And even when Jaden Reed comes back, that's going to be one more mouth to feed. That's going to be Reed, Watson, Wicks, Dobbs, Golden, Kraft. That's 6 guys who you can make an argument where you should get this guy the ball. So it's tough, but for opposing defenses, it's even more tough to game plan against teams like that.
So looking at all of that, Matt, and then looking forward to the future in this upcoming game, how do you see this game going for the Packers? Because Trevor brought up he's smelling trap game for Green Bay.
I think there have been a couple games already this season where you could have said the Packers were set up for a trap game. The Bengals, the Cardinals, and they didn't let those become a trap game. So sure, the Browns game you could call a trap game. I think that was more just like an absolute collapse. I don't think that was necessarily a trap game. They could have, 8 trap games a year because not every team they're going to play is good. The bottom line is it's hard to win in the NFL, and sometimes you're going to get tripped up. The Packers have been really good at home this year, beating the Lions, Commanders, and then the Bengals. The Panthers aren't a bad team, especially when they have Bryce Young. And Andy Dalton and the Panthers were horrific against the Bills last week, but Bryce Young, I believe, is day-to-day this week, and they're going to try and get him out to practice on Wednesday. They have a good two-headed running game there. They have a solid defense, one of the better young corners in the league in J.C. Horn. So, I mean, they're a 500 team. They're 4-4. I don't think every game where the Packers play an inferior team is necessarily a trap game. I just think this is a solid team coming off a really bad loss who could do some damage.
And the good news is, to your point, the Packers are home for the next 3 out of 4 games, which is not something they've been able to say for some time. Matt Schneidman, if you don't, you need to. Follow him along on The Athletic every single month. I see that charge come out of my bank account, and I go, of all of the subscriptions I have, this is what I'm going to keep because you're a great writer, Matt, and the articles that you put out on a very regular basis are a good read, so we appreciate what you do.
Thanks, Trevor. Do you really say all that when you see the charge in your bank?
Every single month?
No, I just go, shouldn't I cancel this? God,
every single month.
Subscription, and then I go, no, because it's pretty good.
It drives his family nuts. They're like, Dad, we get it.
Yeah, every single month. You know, boys, I should really cancel this subscription, but I don't because it's good. Damn it, it's
good because Matt's a good writer. We know.
Matt, on the way out, I don't know if you heard the announcement, and you've been gracious with your time, so thank you. This is probably the last time you were going to join us because I said 10 minutes and it's been longer.
No, it's fine.
Goody's coming on the show on Thursday morning, and we know better than to fake like we're you guys. You guys do such an amazing job of asking deep-rooted questions that look for as much news and under stuff as we can. I'm curious, though, in the years of you covering Goody and the Packers and the team, how do you assess how the general manager has done for the Green Bay Packers? And what do you look at?
Well, if they're winning football games, if their young talent is playing well, if the guys he signed in free agency are playing well, there's so many different things that go into it. And you can kind of say, well, some of it's coaching, some of it's the players, some of it's the GM. Ultimately, it's winning. And, you know, that would require a whole story or a whole show to break down kind of his actual performance. You can say the Nate Hobbs signing was not great because they gave him all that money and he's playing 4 defensive snaps. But you could also say that signing Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney more than makes up for it. You could say drafting guys like Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom, and we can go through the whole list. The bottom line is the Packers for 3 years now have been the youngest team in the NFL by average age. They've made the playoffs twice, and right now they're the current number 1 seed in the NFC. A lot of season left, but I think Brian Gutekunst has done a great job. At some point, though, you do have to get over the hump, and you do have to, I think, at least make an NFC championship game, and this year could be the year for that.
Winning matters. We hear you. All right, follow along on the Tundra as well. Matt Schneidman, John Kuhn, a podcast that drops tomorrow for this week because probably American Airlines, I'm guessing.
Oh, it wasn't me. I think John was spending some family time in Pennsylvania. And
how dare he?
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. We'll chat again soon, buddy. We appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Matt Schneidman joining us on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Yesterday, we chatted with Joe Thomas, and he said something fascinating that I took some time to reflect on in regards to Luke Fickell and do the Badgers jump on this carousel that is fire coaches, and I may have something to take back.
Oh, well, it's a good day for it. Take Back Tuesday coming up next.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Take Back Tuesday, next segment. What do you got to take back? Let us know. The Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text Line, 414-677-1250. Stay here.
Quite as well. I thought you should know.
What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome back. The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. This is Inside Wisconsin Sports. Follow us on Twitter at Trevor Thomas IW, at On Air Josh. The show at Inside Wis Sports. YouTube.com/@WI Sports Radio. Thanks to Matt Schneidman from The Athletic and the Tundra podcast jumping on with us to break down what was the Packers game yester weekend.
Yep, yester weekend.
This coming weekend. It's not Monday anymore. I can't say yesterday.
Nailed it.
Yester weekend? Question mark? All right, we had Joe Thomas on the show yesterday morning. Very grateful for his time on his way to the airport when he had a curveball thrown his way by an appearance he's making in Cleveland today. And they're like, hey, by the way, your flight's leaving early. The car's on the way. He was a champ and jumped on with us anyway. So he brought up some stuff in regards to Luke Fickell. On Tuesdays, we have these conversations of, if you've got something to take back, Tuesday would be the day. Like, is there something from over the weekend that you maybe said, you maybe thought?
You had a hot take.
And you're like, man, that was wrong. I'll take that one back. I'm not certain that I want to take this back yet, but it's worth a conversation. And Joe had a really good way of putting this in regards to Luke Fickell and what Wisconsin does next. Here's what he had to say.
That being said, I think that there's too many right now programs in college football that are quick to hook their coach. And I'm not saying that I think that Luke Fickell's done a great job thus far, because you are what your record says you are. Like, that is the ultimate, without a doubt, thing that's always true in football. You're as good as your record says you are, and the Badgers are not good enough right now. But that said, I'm not sure that if you fire Luke, you're going to be able to replace him with a better option, especially considering you have a buyout, and then now you have even less money to pay your players. Like, the reason Indiana is so competitive right now, yeah, Coach Cignetti's really a good coach, but he's able to bring in a lot of guys into their transfer portal because they have a lot of money behind their NIL. So unless we do that, we're going to have a different coach that we're going to be paying the old guy already, and we're going to have less money, and we're probably going to be less competitive. So I just think that there's a lot of really tough decisions that Badgers and Badger fans have to be faced with here in the next couple of years. And I'm not sure that firing Luke in the middle of the season or at the end of the season is going to solve our problems.
There you go.
So he talked about a lot there. And what I heard the most was, if Luke gets fired, that's going to cost the University of Wisconsin a lot of money. That doesn't necessarily have that money then going into a pot to pay players.
Correct.
The NIL budget at Wisconsin is not what other schools are. And yet one could easily look at where the Badgers football program is and go, geez, Fickell's got to go. The coaching staff has got to go. We got to reset. What are we going to do? The most recent coach that got fired in college football over the weekend was LSU head coach Brian Kelly. That was the 10th head coach in college football since week one that got canned. UCLA, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, Penn State, Oregon State, Colorado State, Florida, and now LSU. LSU is in the middle of a negotiation with Brian Kelly, or I should say Brian Kelly's attorney, to figure out how they find a happy ground to pay $54 million in a buyout. The fact that they pulled the trigger, knowing that that was going to be the case at some level, says something in regards to where the LSU football program is. And per Joe Thomas and some of the conversation we've had here on Inside Wisconsin Sports, I'm not convinced that firing Coach Luke Fickell is the best way forward at this moment for those reasons. Do we have the money to buy him out? And even if some donor cut a check and said, make the change, who do we get? Not that there's not qualified guys out there, by the way. There are a lot of them, and some of them with specific ties to the state of Wisconsin. And that's what I hear more than anything if I'm hearing Badger fans. It's, we had a Wisconsin way. Joe Thomas said it yesterday. We have a Wisconsin way. We had it. We built a wall around Wisconsin. We kept the best football players in Wisconsin. Granted, that was during a time when football players weren't getting handed checks above the table anyway. But is that the fix? And so I have been on a train of, I think we just need to rip the Band-Aid off. But upon further review, I'm not quite ready to take it back, but I'm pondering it. I'm pondering it.
Take it back.
I can't yet. I'm not.
Listen, you can take
move.
that take back without feeling confident and liking that Luke Fickell is the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers football team. It's a situation of you going from rip the Band-Aid off, get rid of Fickell, start over, and realizing that as much as you might want that, getting rid of him doesn't set this team up for success immediately going forward because of the position it would put them in. That's a fair take back.
The 920 on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. It would be funny to hear Brian Kelly's new Wisconsin accent if we got him. Not saying that we should.
Yeah.
That'd be funny.
That would be funny.
I think that's the problem is there's a lot of coaches. Clearly, we just read off 10 schools that are looking for a job. But what's the fix at Wisconsin? And ironically, it probably has a lot to do with culture and team and the coaching staff. That's what I see more than anything. Forget the wins and losses. Forget the budget of the NIL. Does Wisconsin football feel like a program that has it together?
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. And there's no amount of money that we should or shouldn't spend that should fix the culture. That's the problem.
Well, you know how you fix the culture?
You whack the head coach.
You win. Winning fixes everything.
Right. It does. So at some level, if they're not winning and the culture's jacked, regardless of the budget, don't you have to figure out how to start over? See, this is why I'm not taking it back. Because in this conversation, I went from Joe Thomas has got a point, but then 2.5 minutes later, I'm like, forget it, whack him.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I'm just saying, I think that even if you want to whack him, if you're truly worried about the culture, you got to understand that making that move right now and putting more money towards now a buyout, when you don't even have someone in the waiting room to become the next coach that you're excited about, isn't fixing the culture or helping the team win. It's just, okay, now we have another bill, and now we're trying to still figure out what's next. That's the problem. That's the problem with your take of, and a lot of people's take of, well, we just got to get rid of Fickell. I get it. I absolutely get it. And if it didn't cost us anything, if his contract was up, I would say, yep, here's the door. Bye. But that's not the situation that the Badgers are in right now.
Sure sounds like college football and Major League Baseball have a lot in common right now.
Yeah, it's almost like they're both businesses.
Oh, it's almost as if all of professional sports is a business.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the money.
I said this last week, I believe. I'm not convinced that professional sports is a long-term sustainable thing when so many fans on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line all morning long have a serious disdain for Major League Baseball and where the payroll situation is. And it's coming out hot and heavy again right now with people going, college athletics? What's that? College football? You mean the NFL minor leagues like that? Is that what we're talking about? How gross is it as a sports fan to have to go, well, how much is that going to cost? Or what's the ramifications of the NIL? Or how are we going to get
1,000%? But that's exactly what it is.
I know.
And in professional sports that don't have a cap, right? Because college football and Major League Baseball share that in similarity to where there's no cap on how much money, at least I don't think so, how much money you can give someone in NIL, how much you can pay a player to swing a bat wearing your jersey. That becomes the focus. You do not see that as much in the NFL and the NBA. Do they still say, can you imagine this guy got paid this amount of money? Absolutely. We always go, oh my gosh, that's a ton of money. But it doesn't break the league. It doesn't break the conversation of what my team has the ability to do. It's the same reason why when the Bucks offer the Supermax deal to Giannis and we go, oh my gosh, that's a ton of money for him. Okay, but we're not paying it, and now we have Giannis. Yay. And it's because we can still be in the fight. We can be in the conversation. It's that disparity with MLB and college right now.
Yep. And it's not going to get any better anytime soon.
Nope.
So grin and bear it,
nope.
Sports fans, because that's just the way it's going to be. All right, we wrap up the show in the next segment like we do every day. We call it What's Up Wisconsin. What are you guys watching tonight? Are you watching the World Series?
No.
I am.
Oh, are you?
I am. Shocker, I know. I think we know where you stand, at least audibly.
You ready
now.
for a classic game? Classic game 4 of the World Series. As Shohei pitches a no-hitter and hits 7 home runs. Go down as the best game in history. Blah, blah, blah. Puke everywhere.
Well, there he is. I've been waiting.
I'm done.
For him.
I'm done. That's it.
You're gonna watch it. You have to.
Oh,
we do a
come
sports
on.
show. What's up, Wisconsin? We're doing that next. The Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Trevor and Josh want to know.
What's up?
What's up, Wisconsin?
What's up?
What's your plan for the day?
What's up?
What are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Let us know what's up on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
What's up, Wisconsin? What's going on today in your world, or tonight in your world? I know what's going on in mine, and I believe I know what's going on in Josh's, as much as he doesn't want to admit it. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Get with us on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. What's up, Wisconsin? What are you doing? Hey, Josh.
Yes.
What are you doing tonight, buddy?
Well, let me start by saying it's Tuesdays. On Tuesdays, Jordy has Taekwondo, so I will be parenting him to Taekwondo. And then I have one of my many podcasts that I'm doing through Not Done Yet Media. The Roosevelt Shirt Nerd podcast happens tonight. And it, I think, is going to allow me to at least avoid the start of the World Series game. I'll be doing that podcast, and so I believe the game's at 7. Is that correct? It's the same time, 7 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay. So, so I'll be able to miss the first few innings and not have to feel bad about it of World Series Game 4.
We said that on the way into the break, that you're kind of required, based on your job, to watch Game 4 of the World Series, or at least have an idea of what to converse about. And there's a clear Wisconsin connection. The Dodgers beat the Brewers. I don't know if
I think we're all aware. Yeah.
Dalton Varsho, center fielder for the Blue Jays from UW Milwaukee, grew up in Marshfield. So there's connections. We can talk about it on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, because it connects with Inside Wisconsin Sports as much as you don't want to.
People are already getting theirs in here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line. We want to know what you're doing this evening as well. Let us know what's up. The 414 says, not watching the World Series, that's for sure. I'm going to set up my new workout room and try and be productive. What a great, if your only option is hate watching the Dodgers or setting up your workout room, there's a good, perfect, great reason to set it up. Now I'm going to save that for tonight, when my only other option is having to watch Ohtani and everyone love him.
I'm watching it or listening to it on the radio. I have to drive from Northeast Wisconsin to Monroe, Wisconsin tonight. I'll be doing the show live from Monroe tomorrow morning. I have to be there for a Deeper Roots shoot. So I do the podcast, the Inside Wisconsin podcast. And then within that podcast, we have this awesome feature that is with my friends at Blaine's Farm and Fleet. We call it Deeper Roots, where we travel the state of Wisconsin and look for these deep-rooted Wisconsin stories that aren't with A-list sports celebrities. They're with families and communities that have been doing something for generations that we want to come and tell their story. Actually, that'd be something decent to mention here. If you, around the state of Wisconsin, have a family story, or somebody in your community has a story, head to farmandfleet.com/deeperroots. Fill out the form. I would love to come out and tell your story. So tomorrow morning, I'll be live from Monroe, Wisconsin, and then doing a Deeper Roots shoot. But on the way, and then when I get to the hotel, I will absolutely be engaged with Game 4 of the World Series. Because you can't not, at least for me as a baseball fan, diehard Brewers fan. But I love the World Series. Can't get enough of it.
More people chiming in here, and I appreciate this. I didn't even, shame on me. The Bucks are home tonight. I'm obviously not able to go, but the Bucks are at home against the Knicks tonight. So I can see Giannis play. That's way better. I'll end up watching that and watching Giannis play basketball.
715 said Dalton is still actually very involved in Marshfield, and his family is great to that community. We're talking about Dalton Varsho. We're out in Wausau. So that makes sense that people there would have a connection and know who the Varsho family is. He was in the middle of a lot last night. A lot.
Sure was.
So many deep balls hit to dead center field that were ultimately caught by Varsho. That could have been game-changing until the one went over his head from Freddie Freeman. That was game-changing. And, he stood there when it was a strike.
Mm-hmm.
It was called a strike.
It was called a strike. It absolutely was called a strike. It wasn't a strike, but it was called a strike.
And that's how you play the game, based on what they say. Gary from Tosa fell asleep in the 15th inning last night. and had to get up at 5 a.m. Huge baseball fan and love watching the World Series.
Well, Carrie, that's great.
See,
I'm happy for her. I'm not telling anyone not a fan. I'm not saying don't watch the World Series. I'm jealous of you and Carrie or Kari, however it is, who can enjoy this and watch this and not feel immense pain and anger and frustration. That would be great. I'm very jealous of that.
In case you missed it, at 7:30, we had a major announcement this morning here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. The general manager of the Green Bay Packers, Brian Gutekunst, is going to join us live here on Inside Wisconsin Sports on Thursday morning at 6:15 a.m. We get to check in with the GM about halfway through what is a very promising so far Green Bay Packers football season. Stoked to chat with him. Do not miss that. Set your alarm. We'll definitely run that interview a number of different times in that show. But if you want to catch it live, both on air and online at youtube.com/@WI Sports Radio, or just type in Inside Wisconsin Sports into the search bar on YouTube, we will pop up and you'll be able to join us. Chatting with Goody Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m. here on Inside Wisconsin Sports and the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. What's your first question, Josh?
Well, it depends on a lot, but right now my first question is just focus on baseball. I'm gonna ask Goody, like, just hey, looking at what's happening with the Dodgers right now, as you look at a different sports league, professional sports league, and how that's all playing out, knowing that you make those same type of decisions, but you can't do what the Dodgers are doing because of the rules that are set up. What's your thought process when you see that and what they can do? How does that affect you in your day-to-day decisions and mindset?
Yeah, I wonder if there's crossover. Is there ever a conversation of comparing apples and oranges between professional sports leagues? That's fascinating. I also have a question with him in regards to college football. I know that it's hard to get a talented player that should be in the NFL to leave a paycheck in college that is probably close to what they're going to sign in terms of a rookie deal in the NFL, unless they're drafted in the first round. Just fascinating. Lots of crossover. Join us tomorrow morning, too, of course, and Thursday morning, 6:15 a.m. Brian Gutekunst, the Packers general manager, here on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll see you tomorrow morning. We will.
Because we are not done yet.